And one. Hello, hello, hello.
Going on, y'all? It's
I'm back.
been about 2 weeks, but
Yeah,
we have a reason for it. So
yeah, personal
there-
stuff going on.
yeah, there's personal stuff, and then there was Ethan going home, and there was me getting adjusted to everything, and then there was Ethan going to track meets and me just finishing all my certification stuff and everything. They're just busy, but we didn't forget about it. We're not slacking off. We just had to handle some stuff. But we got some
We'll
things
be
to talk
back. We're back. So,
We're back every week. The days may vary. For right now, I don't want us to set a set in stone date. We'll try to have it out Mondays or Fridays,
we'll get
but
videos out at least once a week.
they'll be out once a week. So if they're not on that exact date, apologies. But we're starting up, getting everything ready, and eventually things will be more set in stone as things get more figured out. But yeah,
For sure.
so, dude. Before we get into anything, let's talk about the freaking Utah Jazz playing thing that I
Bro,
talked
I
about.
just saw so you had told me about it earlier, but I went and I saw pictures on Instagram. Bro, the plane is destroyed.
Yeah, man.
They showed the front. It's just like,
It was for real.
sorry to be disgusting. Like there's like blood everywhere. The
Yeah.
engine got ripped apart. I was like, oh man.
Yeah. Smacked into a fly. So basically, if you guys don't know what happened, let me make sure I pull up the ESPN article just to make sure. Shout out to ESPN for it, so we don't get
Yeah.
anything. But
You got some
let
time.
me make
Go
sure
read that article.
exactly. Go read the article. It's on the front page, but just to make sure I get it 100% right, I'm gonna go read ESPN. I'm gonna find this article real quick.
It's crazy like how like I could swear I got like a notification for it. It was like, they had a
Yeah,
plane, they had to make an emergency landing. Like just
exactly. I'm gonna look it up. Hold on, I'm gonna just look up Jazz. Utah
yeah.
Jazz.
But
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell now it's like not in the like doing good, and he
Oh my
can't fly
god.
a plane. I don't know how he's gonna travel to,
Yeah,
basketball
man.
games anymore, but
Exactly. So let me read this just a little bit of this article to you guys, right? So it says the Utah Jazz's team charter plane had to make an emergency landing shortly after takeoff Tuesday afternoon after striking a flock of birds, which caused an engine fire and failure. The Jazz were en route to Memphis, Tennessee, where they are scheduled to play the Grizzlies on Wednesday evening. No injuries were reported. Jazz confirmed the Delta charter for Wednesday game returned to Salt Lake City International Airport shortly after the takeoff. Keep going a little bit. I want to get to okay. So two players on the Jazz told the undefeated's Mark J. Spears that they were extremely relieved and appreciative that no one was hurt. Several players appeared to express gratitude for the landing. Donovan Mitchell posted a praying hands emoji on Twitter. It doesn't say, I probably not the exact one I read, but basically, Mike Conley thought he was going to die. He said that.
which I mean is fair.
It's fair. And he said that people on the plane were texting their loved ones just in case they didn't make it off. And Jordan Clarkson was talking about how he was like, yo, this might be the end. And he said that. And Donovan Mitchell, meanwhile, is probably freaking out because one is it's said that Donovan Mitchell has a plane of flying, which hell yeah, I think I do too. I don't like getting on planes. Every time I get on it, I'm like damn. But Donovan Mitchell basically, once the plane does land, he wanted nothing to do with it. So He doesn't get back on the team plane that's going there and misses Wednesday's game for personal reasons, but really it's because he was not messing with that. And I respect him for it.
And it's funny because I'm a Mets fan for baseball, and the Mets newly acquired shortstop Francisco Lindor signed a huge 10-year, $341 million contract. And he's like,
I saw that, yeah.
I was on the phone with Donovan Mitchell last night talking about the contract. I was on it with him today. We were laughing and making jokes about it. I'm like, well, the match just, died in a plane crash, but it's fine.
Bro, I don't know what I'd do if I was in that situation.
Yeah, I couldn't, we can laugh about how they're all that, but if I was in that situation, I'm sure I'd
be freaking out. I would never go to another plane.
Yeah.
And it's been as soon as when I used to fly anywhere in the country. If I'd go flying, I just hated planes. Mm-hmm. I hate the whole procedure. I hate the airport, especially COVID right now. I hate it even more. Getting in an airplane
Right.
where, and I just don't like it in general. Like I always like, I think that I'm in like a confined space, breathing the same air as every single person.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, the baby's crying, and people just acting out and stuff.
Of course.
People snore, and like I just don't like the environment of a plane, and I don't like flying. And I mean that's it. Like it's as simple as that. I rather not get on a plane. I remember you dropped me off at the airport, and I just didn't want to go like to the plane. Like I was like I don't want to be on this. I just don't like being on planes. It makes me
You
nervous.
see, I love being on planes, but I barely fly anywhere, if anything. My family, they all live in the same town. So for holidays, we're staying in the same spot. But
I've flown Yeah, I've flown more this year, like 2020 to 2021, than I had my whole entire life.
that's great.
So
That's
exactly, like go
crazy.
visiting my girlfriend in Myrtle
Mm-hmm.
and flying out there because it's just easier than drive. I honestly like the drive. Some
Yeah,
people don't.
it's an all right drive. It's just after a while you get
On the team bus, yeah, but when you're driving by yourself, like when you're driving in your actual car, and like you can make your own stops and like
true.
you listen to
True.
your own music and charge your phone. It's not as bad. But
Yeah.
there was one time it was pretty bad. Though. There was like the whole entire like highway got cut off
Right.
because of an accident, and we had to go like all the way around like through these swamps and stuff. Like I was like, bro, if I miss a turn, my GPS is not recalculating. Like
That's great. That's
facts, man.
funny. So March Madness, being April 1st, we just had March Madness. It's still going. We're in the Final Four now.
Yeah,
But
Final Four.
crazy what's been going on. Literally, it was upsets after upsets.
Dude,
Let's not talk about my favorite team, Ohio State. We don't need to talk about them, but it's
bro, that
fine.
was
It's
bad.
fine.
Man, Michigan just the other night.
Yeah, but we got the Mount. Both the men's and women's team made it.
Yeah, man.
Didn't last very long in the tournament, but nonetheless.
I was actually watching the game. What was it? Texas? What Texas
Texas
team?
Southern, yeah, Texas
Texas.
Southern. They had
I
a
watched.
10-point lead at halftime and lost it. But
Yeah, I was watching the game and I was pretty disappointed. But I didn't get to watch the girls when I wanted to today. I
yeah,
didn't get to.
it wasn't a pretty sight either. They played the University of Maryland, who was a 2 seed,
Oh
and
man!
they lost, I think, 98-45.
Wow,
It wasn't
that's
yeah, it
why I
wasn't a
didn't
pretty
hear.
sight.
That's
But
why.
hey, you know what? They made it. They made it. It was the first time they'd made it both men's, I think it was like 2017. And the women since like the 90s, but it was it was it was it was it wasn't a pretty sight.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
But talking about college, on the track side of things, the popular college track and field couple, Tara Davis and Hunter Woodhull, they've both been making noise in their
Yeah,
own ways. But Tara Davis long jumping like 23 feet,
yeah.
she broke I think the indoor college record, and
Mhm.
just broke the outdoor one as well. She's freaking jumping like crazy. And then her boyfriend Hunter, who's, if you follow track and field,
Mhm.
he now just ran for the University of Arkansas. He's no longer a runner there. He was a double amputee, and he decided to go pro. He's he said he had enough with the NCAA,
Man,
with
massive.
the likeness, and college basketball players recently were talking with the NCAA commissioner, and now Hunter being one of the top faces of NCAA track to go pro,
Yeah,
just shows that like NCAA really needs to get up with the times and
they do, man.
likeness
It's
and image.
100%, and it's just, man, it's just rough because there's a lot of these athletes who just are not gonna be pro. A lot of these athletes who just dedicated their life for 4 years because it really is a life commitment, man. Like
Yeah,
that's the thing I don't think a lot of people understand. I was like, people are like, oh, like work a job, work a job. It's like, man, this is my life. Like this, we wake up every day. This is what we do every single day, man. This is what we do. It's literally morning waking up, And then the days that are not mandatory, you still do it anyways because you want to be good. And then you can only think about that stuff when it's that time anyways. And
Yeah.
it comes to
And
stress of it.
all it takes is one injury, like Kevin Ware from Louisville snapping his leg in like 10 different places. And he
Mm-hmm.
probably would have gone to the NBA and been all good, but he
Yeah, and then
hurt his
that's
leg, and now it really destroyed his career after that.
exactly. And I'm trying to like filter how much we say because I know you're in the NCAA and like there's
Yeah.
just so many different rules and you sign and it's like you have to make sure you're doing
You
things
know,
right.
like,
And
listen, I get it. Like, I respect, the rules are the rules right now. I can't do anything about it.
exactly.
But it's just crazy seeing, all these top name players and how like the NBA now is creating that program where high school kids like Jalen Green don't even need to go to college. They're going to go to this
Yeah, a lot of
G League
exactly
program where they make $500,000 a year and get an
exactly. There was
education
like
on their own.
before and like before that was where like Brandon Jennings did it. He went overseas, played in China, came back a year, got drafted in the first round.
LaMelo going over to like
Yeah,
Lithuania and
Lamelo
Australia.
going to Lithuania for not even going to college, just taking an alternative route, and it's showing. It's kind of making the NCAA have to wake up because it's realizing like, and I understand it in a way, and I understand people when I get their education. I feel like if you're if that's what's needed for your job or for what you're going to do in your life, then yes. But if someone's a sheer first round pick, they have the potential coming out of high school. Their skills are just so unmatched at their age, right? And that is their job. They're going to be able to do that job. So that's just as good as a degree for them because they're going to be able to get an absurd amount of money in the NBA and be able to go pro and get that money while you can because it's not promised that they'll be okay. What if they do go to college and blow their knee out? You know how many times it's happened? Amazing players have been drafted and blew their knees out and never been the same, or just getting injured, or like why wait? Why keep pushing it if they have the potential to do it now? The training is out of this world now, athletic training and the advances with science and all that stuff.
Exactly, and like be able to like some players to be able to get some sponsorship deals. I'm not
Exactly
saying they're going to be
endorsements.
Zion Williamson getting $100 million deals with Nike, but
Exactly.
just
It's not money,
little something
it's
just to play.
because, bro, trust me, exactly. Me and you and a lot of the people who were in college that
This doesn't affect me.
exactly,
I'm not getting paid for my image and likeness. I
exactly.
never
But,
will.
yeah, but it's like it's people who are in positions like me and you are with, just not everybody is blessed with money to pay with college. Like
Yeah.
it helps people say, okay, this is gonna help my family when I go home. Like we're cool, we're at school now, but what about when these athletes go home? And it's like it lets them have money to pay for their training, to have food in their mouths,
Yeah.
to be able to just be able to live comfortably, especially when you can't work. Because realistically, okay, work in the summer, cool, but if you're that good of an athlete, then your number one priority is obviously going to be getting better, and you're going to have a
Of course.
different training regimen, and you're definitely going to apply yourself more to training than the regular person would who isn't. And it's just like any other thing in the world that you're great at your job, you put more work in, you
Mhm.
sometimes have to sacrifice. So why do people expect athletes to have to be something different where,
Yeah.
oh,
It's a
just like
it's a very stressful life having to manage.
it is, man. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. A lot of people, because they're not living it, they like to discredit it and think that, athletes are just prima donnas and basically complain all the time and that they should just be quiet and they're already living a great life. But man, it's stressful. Like
Yeah.
you don't go out and perform, then
Yeah.
you either forgotten or you're cut or
Yeah, they think we just get the nice free clothing and all this stuff, but it's
oh, you
like,
guys
we get the
close, you guys
travel, the Instagram, all these pictures and stuff like that. But it's not. It's the everyday stuff. It's
exactly. But
grueling.
look what we're doing to get that, right? So
Yeah.
look how hard we're working. Look how you can't even figure out how to schedule anything with us because he's just practicing all the time. That's how it was. Like it was like damn, like man, I remember our days would be like let's say it's like a Friday, right? We would literally wake up, eat, go to our classes, and if depending if you're healthy or different, sometimes it changes, right? But then we'd have to. So like for me, I know I was having to go to Connor, the trainer. Shout out Connor. I was having to go to him mad early during the day to try to fit it in with my classes. Then I'd leave, go to class, eat some food, get there early, meet with him again, stretch out, get ready for practice, go to practice, get out of practice, go to lift, get out of lift, go to class, get out of class, and then we come back at night, and it's like, bro, like what can you
And you
fit
still
anything?
have to eat dinner, and then you still have to get homework done.
Yeah, exactly. We have homework, and then like God forbid we want to have like some free time in our life to like actually play Xbox or like talk or just take a break and like kind of unwind from
And
everything
then you
because it does
just repeat, and then you repeat it again the next day.
every single day, and it's just something. It's the same type of thing, but other days are busy. Some days are busier than others, but every day is busy.
Yep.
And you know, and then it comes to off season, and it's really the same thing, but it's not somebody telling you have to do it, but it is at the same time. If you want to be good, then you have to do it. If you
Yeah.
don't want to, if you want to be average and you want to get injured and stuff, then don't do anything. But
Yeah,
it
100%.
really is. It's really
Oh,
like that,
but
man.
I give it to them, and like I had said with his girlfriend Tara, who's killing it over at Texas, they have a YouTube page, and they have millions of followers on Instagram. I'm sure a few 100,000 followers on subscribers on YouTube. Um, it's like they can start making, at least Hunter can. Tara's still competing at Texas, so she can't right now, but at least Hunter
Yeah, monetize,
can monetize
monetize.
it and get some money from sponsorships. I had read an article where he could get upwards of $800,000 just in sponsorships right now, and that's great. And he deserves that money. The kid basically, since he was an infant, they didn't think he was even going to be able to walk again. So to be able to do
Yeah,
what he's doing, being projected right now to win gold at the Paralympics in Tokyo, to be able to do all that, I give all the props to him, and he deserves the money, and he deserves to be able to do what he does. So I respect that.
it's a grind.
Yeah,
It's a grind.
100%.
Yeah, that's the one thing that like the one thing that I miss more is just like the one thing I definitely want to talk about is like, but like I feel like the adjustment after sports to the adjustment in sports, like you have to, like if you're an athlete, if any athletes are watching this, right, and I understand that things may be amazing and things may always be going. You never can think about life without the sport, but like always make sure like you don't lose who you are as a person in the sport you're playing, because there has to be a you outside of the sport. And like that's the one thing that like I preached the most when I played was like, but when I competed and stuff, like I feel like the thing that helped me out the most and helped me be successful, and I started performing my best when I stopped putting like this immense amount of like pressure. Like I feel like the whole world was on me. And it's never that I stopped caring more about the sport, or like I stopped like just caring about doing
Right.
good. It's just because like I like mentally kind of trained myself to never be too high or too low with it. So it was like I always had fun with it. Like I was always having fun, no matter how hard the workout was, no matter what the meet was. I always made sure that I enjoyed it, because you start doing it because you love doing it. And a lot of people like lose the passion for the sport in the grind, when I think you should never lose. You should always still love it. So you should check yourself constantly and be like, do I love it? Am I having fun? Because yes, like grind, like no pain, no gain, and all that, right? But at the core of it, you should be enjoying it. You should be doing that because you love it, not because you have.
100%. 100%. And if you don't have that love, why are you doing it? Why
Exactly.
put yourself through that pain? But no, like I love this sport. It wasn't a sport I knew since I was a child, but
Yeah, me too, man.
once I started it, I loved it. I still love it to this day, no matter the pain that I get from workouts, no matter
Mm-hmm.
all the traveling, everything that I have to do, not being able to see my family and stuff because of that. Um, it's grueling, but I know at the end of the day, it makes me happy. To be a part of a team is something that I love. And it's gonna suck when I have to finally close
Yeah,
the door, but I have
yeah.
to at some point.
I think that's been like the hardest adjustment. Like sometimes I still like I guess I didn't expect it to get like open, but I'll be open about it. It's like there's times where I'm like I feel like I might need to go like just mentally like get help, talk to somebody, because
Yeah,
there's times where like it almost feels like I can't let go in a way of like the things that I missed from it and how it was, and like it's really hard. It almost feels like somebody like it's like a hole in you missing.
Yeah.
And that's why I voted with like training and like making sure that I'm getting other people better because I couldn't let go. I couldn't let go of the sport and like the love
Right.
and like it made me feel and just like the freedom I felt when doing it and stuff. And like I just believe that you should kind of. I just lost my train of thought, but I kind of I felt like I loved it, and I feel like you should just always make sure that you're mentally okay and just enjoy it because
Listen,
everybody doesn't realize
it's
bro.
completely
Like,
understandable, and that's one
and,
thing as athletes. All athletes, like if you need help, reach out to somebody.
yeah, again,
There's
that's
always
something that
somebody.
yes, and that's one thing that people don't realize is like there's so many athletes that like mentally go through it, but they don't talk about it because they just kind of lose it all and they use the sport to kind of put everything in they put everything into the sport and they don't really think about their mind. And me and you are both guilty of that.
Yep.
Because and not just us, everybody. We have friends who are, people who are huge who've done it too. Like sports and mental health go hand in hand because it's important to realize like sure, like everybody may think that you guys are blessed, you have this, there's nothing to be upset about. But no, like it's sacrifice doing it. Sometimes you hurt people. Like you don't get to sometimes get the relationships that you want to build with like people in your life, like your friends and your family and your significant others because it's hard. And sometimes they have to be really, really understanding to be able to go through it with you because it's rough because there's sometimes where you just want to, but you can't do things.
Yeah.
And it's hard because sometimes as an athlete, you dictate your worth as a human being off of like how you just performed. So
Right.
sometimes people can't that's why like I never try to be too down over even if I did have a bad meet and I ran in a race bad, if I stumbled or false started and stuff. But um it's rough because you want to be tough on yourself to learn from it, but you just don't want to be so hard on yourself that you kind of lose your worth as a human being. You start beating yourself down because it really weighs on you, and it makes you lose the fun. Like everything kind of goes full circle.
Yep. Yeah. 100%. So the last thing I want to get to, so I had my last meet. What was it? 2 weekends now. Jeez, time flies by. But
Yeah.
we raced down in Coastal. It was a good weekend. Horrible, kind of like sucky weather. So people went out there and dropped some good times. I had ran 62 in the 400 hurdles like the weekend before that. Then this week I went out and dropped a 59.5, so 3.5 second ish drop. It was a tough race because the wind was pretty rough. But tweaked some things around with coach. Shout out to him because he's been really helpful when it came to hurdles. And things are getting better. It was kind of a rough weekend due to some personal stuff, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, I went out and I did the 4x2, which we didn't get splits, but still ran a reasonably all right time. And the 400 hurdles went well, and I placed sixth at the meet, and at the time, I was fifth in the conference. So
Right.
there's still plenty to improve on.
And
But
absolutely.
it was a good meet, so it was good. But we have a meet, not obviously this weekend, but the next 2 weekends we have some home meets, back to back weekends. So that'll be something to look forward to. Definitely keep you guys updated on how the season goes and how the team does. But yeah, if you guys have any topics you guys want us to talk about, drop them in the comments. If you have anything if you have anything you guys like about the video, let us know. But
Exactly.
yeah,
We still are working with. We still are gonna get a guest on here. We won't drop the name yet. We're just gonna drop it on Instagram before. And sorry for not being as active and like getting stuff out as much as we wanted to right now. But there was just some stuff that we had to deal with and stuff, and on both sides. And you know, not things like that don't come around often. So you guys shouldn't expect that to be something that says every time. But there was just certain things we need to handle. But we will start posting more on Instagram and getting stuff out and putting stuff, making sure we're dropping videos every week is our goal.
Wow.
And we'll work our way from there, and we'll grow with you guys. We don't have a huge following now, but eventually things will be different. You gotta manifest it. Things will be big one day, and you guys can go back here and look at us say it. So yeah, man.
Sure.
If you guys if you guys have any questions or anything, just like he said, we have our Instagram on the screen with the video when it comes up, and you guys can always comment everything, comment on Instagram or hit us up.
Yeah.
But
like it, subscribe it, send it to your friends.
yeah, man.
Spread it out. The more people, the better.
Let's get this thing big. Make this thing big.
Yep, for sure.
All right, guys.
See you guys later.
Yeah.